Welcome back to SleeplessRonin's Plays, and today we're going to cover one of those, my wishful Forcepacks videos. This will be my second one, probably the last one to do. I'm setting this one kind of in what I'm calling the post-Civil War era. I kind of divided up my selections, like, by the years they were done. This one covers a lot, the first one was kind of like leftovers from, it was like 30-50, like through the 30s-60s. It was a much more restricted, era, I think, so I did the first one. This one I've got a much more open era, this is 30-70s through 31-51 or whatever the heck that is over there. But, so, we're going to do the typical thing with the spinners. And let's go to the spinner and see that. Now, going to have a lot of fun with those. I'm going to enjoy those. This video is coming on the, as a sequel to the last video, which I did, not the last video, but the other Forcepacks video when I was speculating on what or suggesting what I'd like to see in upcoming Forcepacks. So again, I've picked 12 factions, and since we've seen all the ones from the Star League, the SLDF stuff that's coming out, and the McCarran's Armored Cav, I did not decide to include any Comstar / Word of Blake kind of stuff, because I don't think I need it right now. I mean, I could have done Word of Blake, but I'm also kind of hoping that Word of Blake is maybe the next big Kickstarter or whatever, because they have so much. I mean, your starter box should just be the Celestial Omnis, but, whatever. So, I decided to pick these 12, I do this 12 again, 12 factions, and so we're gonna jump in. There's some new ones, different ones than last time, so, because we have, the Raven Alliance on here now, we've got, the Lyran Commonwealth, we've got the Taurian Concordat, so I picked some fun ones, I think, hopefully, and just kind of dream boxes. At least, now, I started working on this video back before, or I started working on, the writing and the art for the video, back before not the art, the screens or the effects, whatever you call them, before the whole SLDF boxes were announced, and actually before the McCarran's Armored Cavalry box was announced, which is why you're going to see one of the mechs in the McCarran's Armored Cav is going to show up in a slide, so spoiler alert, one of my wishes has already come true! But let's give this thing a go. We're going to start first with the spins. We get our random factions. And here we go. Our first faction up is going to be... Spin, 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 spin.
Clan Sea Fox.
Clan Sea Fox. Ooh, a fun one to start with. So we've rolled up Sea Fox as the first faction. That's a lot of fun. So, because we did Sea Fox the first faction, let's look at the mechs we're going to have for Sea Fox. And the first mech I'm going to uncover is the little 35-tonner, I do believe he's a 25-tonner, the Crimson Hawk. This is originally developed by Clan Blood Spirit, but Diamond Shark decided that, ooh, that's ours, and we want to, sell it or use it or make it or use it, whatever. And so they took this little mech and decided, hey, it's ours. It is a great little sniper mech. Not fully heat efficient because it's got two ER large lasers and only 10 double heat sinks, but still not a terrible mech for 25 tons. I mean, come on, 25 tons with 2 Clan ER larges is actually kind of a scary mech. So yeah, I'd kind of like to see this one updated in the graphics, to look more like the modern graphics, because it's kind of got it looks a bit too industrial to me. Kind of see, I mean, the lines are very industrial on this thing, and I kind of like the more fantastic, the modern aesthetic is not as industrial, so I'd kind of like to see this one a transition to a more modern aesthetic with a little bit less industrialism to it. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's very industrial overall. So then up after that, let's take a look at the Mad Cat Mark II. Now, I did choose this one because we're already getting the Mad Cat Mark IV, aka the Savage Wolf, with the Star League Defense Force packs, or the Star League packs, or the Republic, whatever, all those packs that are coming this year. We're getting the Savage Wolf. So I thought, you know what? Diamond Shark likes to sell Mad Cats to the Inner Sphere. All kinds of Mad Cats. They're mad for Mad Cats. And so, the Mad Cat Mark II is a assault variant, double Gauss, double LRM 10s, and some other stuff on there for the base variant. And, yeah, 90 little tonner sells well to the Inner Sphere. I just kind of, this is what's funny about this box is while it's called a Clan Diamond Shark box in my little video right here, it literally could be mechs any industry house can use, more or less. Because so many of them were just like, we'll buy those mechs from you. And in keeping up with that line of thought, let's look at the Mad Cat Mark III. Yeah, I put both of the Mad Cats in here. Because, seriously, you're going to do this kind of... A Sea Fox box would probably, in my opinion, contain both the Mad Cats. There's the Assault Mad Cat, and now you've got the Medium Mad Cat. So, yeah, which I kind of think is funny, because in so many ways, I think this Medium Mad Cat is actually probably more lethal than the Assault one in some ways. It's got 2 LRM-20s, 4 ER medium lasers, and then a bevy of, like, micro ER lasers or whatever. So, while it doesn't do the 15-point shots the Assault version does, it does a lot of damage for a little 55-tonner, and it's not slow. This thing goes like 6'9", I think. So, yeah, good and speedy. 55-ton Mad Cat, not bad at all. So, the Mad Cat Mark III made the Sea Fox list. Now let's uncover the Stalking Spider 2. In some ways, at this point in time, we could also call this the sequels list, or the sequels box, because, the spoiler alert, 80% of the mechs in this box are Mark II or III. So here we have the Stalking Spider Mark II, designed and produced by Clan Sea Fox. Yeah, so that's why I chose it. Very popular with Inner Sphere, second line defense units kind of things for the Sea Fox. They're defender. I think it's for them for defensing, but yeah, not bad. 45-tonner, heavy large lasers and some SRMs. Go to town. Or heavy large laser, I think. Go to town. And the last one we've got is the Thresher Mark II. Which is kind of sad. I don't think I put the Thresher on the last list. Or maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe this is Falcon mech. Because I really like the Thresher. So the Thresher Mark II, I also like a lot. They're both heavies. So, yay. This thing's got a very eclectic collection of weapons. ERPPC, large pulse, LRMs, and SRMs. And a flamer. So, not a brilliant design. I think it's actually not as good in many ways as the Thresher plane. But still, it's another Sea Fox mech. And, so, there we go. There's our 5 mechs from Clan Sea Fox. Now that we finished the Clan Sea Fox, what's our next faction going to be? Let's give the Wheel of Factions a spin.
Free Worlds League.
So we've spun up the Free Worlds League as our second faction to take a look at. So let's start this box off by pulling a mech from 3136, the Gambit. A solid little light mech with 2 light PPCs and a medium missile launcher 3, or a multi-missile launcher 3. Relatively cool. Yeah, I just kind of I liked it. It's a nice Free Worlds kind of mech, so yeah, fun. Next up, we have the Sarath. I think I said that right. This one is developed, former Free Worlds League kind of thing or whatever. It's Regulant Fiefs or what. You know, Free Worlds League becomes a horrible mess in the 3100s. So, you got that. This is a nice little medium with a wide variety of guns on it. Heavy PPCs, light PPCs, ER medium lasers, ER small lasers, BAP and spikes. Interesting. So, we have that sucker. Then we have, for the next Free Worlds League mech, we have one I do quite like, called the Anzu. The Anzu is really pretty cool. This is a lower-end heavy, the lowest-end heavy, it's 60 tons. 10 double heat sinks, has an Ultra AC-10, a gun I do appreciate, an LRM-10, a light ER PPC, and an ER medium laser. Overall, I do like this mech. It's got a solid speed at, well, it's only a 4.6. It could be faster. But still, I do like it. It looks like a pretty solid mech. It looks like a small Thor in some ways. And last up, we have the Caronade. I think's how you say that one. I'm not 100% certain. Caronade, maybe Caronade. Anybody knows the actual pronunciation of this sucker? Leave it in the comments below. I want to pronounce it with a Spanish pronunciation to it for some reason. The Caronade, but maybe it's Caronade. I don't know. It's It's a double Gauss mech, but they're not the same Gauss rifle. It carries a normal Gauss rifle and a silver bullet Gauss, which if you don't know what silver bullet Gauss is, imagine an LBX autocannon, but as a Gauss rifle now. And then it's got a bevy of 3 ER medium lasers to go on top of those. So, not bad at all for a 70-tonner. This is a relatively light pack. We got a light, a medium, low-end heavy, and an upper-end heavy. No assault in this pack, which is unusual in my opinion for the Free Worlds League. They do like their assaults. Not as much as the Lyrans, but they do like their assaults. Yeah, I just like the Carronade. I don't know what it is. Yeah, overall, I just really do like that mech. So that's our Free Worlds League mechs. Let's go see who we're getting next on the spin wheel. What's next? Let's spin the wheel of factions.
Clan Jade Falcon.
So we've rolled up Clan Jade Falcon. And I'm actually trying to speed this up a little bit because my last video was really long on this subject. So let's try to do this a bit faster. So I'm going to just say, boom, instead of like doing a one-by-one reveal on all these things, here we are. Here's the 5 mechs I've got for Clan Jade Falcon. We've got the Flamberge, the Gear Falcon, the Onager, Hyro Falcon, and the Jade Phoenix. Yes, two of these mechs, the Hyro Falcon and the Jade Phoenix, are kind of like we're co-designed to work together. And at this point in time, Clan Jade Falcon is a real big penchant for like partial wings and putting wingies on things. Look at all these mechs. These mechs are wingy. They also really like hags. The Onager has a hag. The Hyro Falcon has a hag. The Jade Phoenix has a hag. They really love their Hyper Assault Gauss rifles. So they're a lot of fun. This is a relatively heavy pack, I do believe. The Flamberge comes in at 70 tons and has a whole smorgasbord of interesting weapons, ATMs and medium pulse lasers. But it's an Omni-Mech, but those 2 SRM-6s are fixed equipment. They can't remove those pods. Or maybe they're the ones in the upper wings. I can't really tell if it's the 6s here or the 6s there. Because it has both ATM-6s and SRM-6s on the base variant, which is what the art is based on. Okay. Then we have the Gear Falcon is a 55 tonner. And it's not so hot on the base version in my opinion because it's carrying 2 LB2Xs. And I don't care that they can go forever. They're 2 points of damage that go forever. And they're just massively wasteful in tonnage. It does have 2 ER large lasers, and if it doesn't move, it's heat efficient, but meh. Or not really heat efficient, but it's okay. It can fire its ER larges without being bothered. But it's not a very good mech in my opinion. I put it in here because I think it needs an art upgrade. Which I do believe I did see an art upgrade actually online recently. So if I did find that, I'm going to slap it here on the screen and enjoy the art upgrade. If not, moving along. And we're going to quickly talk about the Onager really quickly. This is a nice assault class mech. And yes, it's got a Hag 30. Like I said, Hag. They love, this point in time, they love their Hags. It has improved jump jets. I don't believe this has a partial wing. It has the little wingy things up there. It doesn't have a wing itself. It's a nice mech. Hag 30, pulse lasers, SRM-6s. Pretty scary in some ways because you don't be anywhere near that Hag 30. But still, I like the way it looks. I really love that big gun on the side. That big gun is really cool. Nice mech. Hyro Falcon is the 45 tonner that pairs up with the Jade Phoenix. It's got a Hag 20 on the base rate. That's an Omni mech. The Jade Phoenix is also an Omni mech. And its base rate has another Hag 30 and 2 ER PPCs. Very deadly mech for an assault mech that's coming in at 85 tons. So the Phoenix pack would be very, very... they look a lot like they really fit together. Because at this point in time, like I said, Jade Falcon is loving their wings and loving their improved jump jets. So very mobile force. I like the Jade Falcon work right here. What's next on the wheel of factions?
Federated Suns.
Federated Suns. Next up we have the Federated Suns, and the 4 mechs I chose for the Federation Suns are the Quirus, Scarecrow, Vulpes, and Templar or Templar 3. We don't have the Templar yet, but there's a Templar and a Templar 3. I'm not honestly sure if there's a Templar 2. I imagine there is, but my brain is not finding it right now. Anyways, I like these mechs. I mean, I had to include my little friend, the War Crimes on Legs, the Scarecrow. I mean, him plus some fire starters is just the worst day an infantryman can ever have. So I do like that mech a lot. I had to include it there. I think it looks cool too. So boom, Scarecrow in my list. The Quirus, I always like mechs with swords. I love melee. It also is my favorite gun in the game, a Rack 5. So that was why I included. That's a nice little light end medium with a sword and a Rack 5. I mean, I can't honestly go wrong in that, in my opinion. And then I included the Vulpes because, again, this is from like 3133. I really like the way this mech looks. And it's one of these mixed text mechs. It's got a Inner Sphere Rack 5 and 2 Clan ER large lasers. That's really kind of cool. It's also got like all kinds of other interesting technology in this stupid thing. It's got stealth armor, ECMs and stuff like that to go along with that. It's not shabby on the speed. Moving at 5'8". It's got like, I think it looks really kind of cool too, honestly. So I do like the Vulpes. It's included in here. And then I have I'm going to go with the Templar 3 for this little spiel. 3100s era assault mech, like off the Templar or the Templar 2. I honestly don't remember if there was a Templar 2. I really can't. If somebody can remember the Templar 2, put it down in the comments. I can't remember if there was one or not. I'll have to look it up on Sarna later on. Templar 3, double ER mediums, double ER PPCs, double ER smalls, SR4. Honestly, not a huge amount of guns because I do remember right. I was reading, I think it might have been on Sarna itself, that the Templar 3 has less pod space than the Templar, which is like kind of like, why? Why would you do that? I think it's because it has a light engine versus a extra light engine, so it's more survivable, but less guns. Especially since it can't even fire both the ER PPCs. None of those mechs are like, why would you bother putting 2 ER PPCs on there? Meh. The Fed Suns, the Templar/Templar 3, is a very iconic Federated Suns mech. Therefore, I included it in the list because honestly, I'd personally prefer if this was just a plain Templar, which I do like, but the Templar 3 is not bad either. So that's the Fed Suns, though. I really like the first 3 mechs. The Templar I had to include. I included because it's iconic, but the 3 is not my favorite. I prefer the 1. What facts are we gonna roll down to? We've only got 8 left. We're 1/3 done so far. Okay, the first of the latter 2/3 is
Raven Alliance.
Ooh, fun. Well, next up we have got the Raven Alliance, and here are the 5 mechs for them. The Stinger 2C, it's not, okay, Dark Crow, Omen, Carrion Crow, and War Crow, because if you're the Raven Alliance, why not name all of your mechs Crow? Whatever. Okay, well, let's start with these mechs. The Stinger 2C is a 20-tonner. It actually doesn't change the weight over a Stinger, unlike some of the other Clan 2Cs where they've gone up and down in weight, like the Griffin and the Shadowhawk are lower weights, and the Phoenix Hawk are like double weight. But the Griffin 2C is the same weight, but it is a hell of a lot scarier than a normal Griffin. It's got 2 improved heavy, medium lasers and an AP Gauss rifle. Stay away from that little 20-tonner. That little 20-tonner can give you a very bad day. Next up, we have the Dark Crow, which I had to include Mr. Arms on My Hips for guns. I think that's hilarious. Those low-mounted Ultra AC5s that literally are arms built onto the hips of the mech are just hilarious. And up where you normally think their arms are, they're like the little 2 flappy bird wings. Flappy battle, flappy battle. I had to include this mech. I think this is great. It's not my favorite mech by a long shot, but it's very iconic looking in my opinion because it's just weird. Then I included the Omen, which is a nice, beefy assault mech. It is weird. ATMs and LBX and ERs and pulses and all kinds of stuff on this thing. I like the way it looks. It's very... This is like a mech that's, it was drawn a while ago, but it kind of gives me like Armored Core kind of feels for the way this mech and another mech in the future, another faction, look like. They kind of have that whole feel of like really overly sci-fi. So earlier I was talking about the Crimson Hawk being like too industrial. In some ways I want the Omen to be redone, so it's a little bit not super sci-fi. It has a bit more of the new aesthetic for Battletech is kind of almost like borderline anime-ish. Not fully anime-ish, it's not full full Gundam, but it's kind of got more of that flow to it. Which you're going to see the next 2 pictures, the Carrion Crow and the War Crow. That kind of smoothness, that feel to the designs, really is what the Omen needs. It needs to be pulled into like that kind of aesthetic, in my opinion. Because I think it's a really good mech. I just think it looks a little bit too ultra sci-fi. Like too realistic sci-fi kind of like things. I want my slightly more fantastical sci-fi that I'm going to be getting from the newer designs. Which we have from the Carrion Crow and the War Crow. Carrion Crow is like, it was, again, this was like another clan that decided to make paired mechs. The Carrion Crow and the War Crow are paired mechs, just like the ones from the Clan Jade Falcon box were, or my fantasy box were. So the Carrion Crow is the medium end of the thing, and it's just kind of disgusting with 2 improved heavy medium lasers and ERPPC with a capacitor on it and an ER small. Not bad at all. Very dangerous, but again, it's an Omni mech, so other variants exist of it. And the War Crow is our heavier one, our heavy mech, which has 2 15 racks, those are the nice rounded pods up top, an ERPPC with a capacitor again. So apparently Raven Alliance is enjoying their PPC capacitors to give you that, 23 hex, 20 shot damage kind of gun out that way, which is kind of scary. Some ER mediums and some medium pulses. I like the way they look. They kind of have that feel of the Viper / Black Python / White Raven mech. I know, I think it has 3 freaking names on it, which we're getting from the Kickstarter. So, but they have that kind of like that birdish, jet fighter-ish almost design on top of legs, which I do like. So I think they were iconic, and they should be included in a Raven Alliance pack of some variety. That's my opinion. Also, with the new artwork right there, that makes me think these have got to be mechs that are coming our way. I kind of look at anything that's got the new artwork on it, and when I see these new finalized arts, my brain is like, yeah, we've got to be getting these at some point in time. So that's why I've included them, because I feel like these are safe bets. Now that we've looked at the Raven Alliance mechs, let's spin the wheel of factions again. Derp.
Lyran Commonwealth.
Well, that was pretty close to Fed Suns. We've now got the Lyran Alliance mechs. So the 4 mechs of the Lyran Alliance are the Jaguar, the Rawhide, the Scourge, and the Götterdämmerung. Because why wouldn't you want to name a mech Twilight of the Gods? I mean, seriously, why not? Why not go for that? Okay, so first up is our little light quad for the Lyran Alliance, called the Jaguar. It's 35 tons, it carries an ATM-6 and SRM-2, and 4 medium lasers. It moves at a pretty solid clip of 812. And yeah, it's actually designed and sold by Clan Wolf in Exile. But it really kind of like they got when they're making it, they got assistance from the Lyran Commonwealth, and they wanted to compete with sales with Sea Fox. So it's actually kind of really interesting. I like this mech. It's an interesting idea. It looks a little bit fiddly in the design right there, so I kind of like to see it pulled into the modern aesthetic and made it a little bit less fiddly looking, because those shoulder-mounted turrets that it's got on the front legs look a little bit weird to me, and the bizarre platform on the butt that's supporting the missile launcher also looks a little bit weird to me. Overall, I like quads though, so I'm really just hoping this thing, comes out. Next up, we got the Rawhide. Is a medium mech. I honestly don't know a lot about this one, but it looks like it could be an interesting mech overall. Medium X-Pulse laser, so one of the mechs has an X-Pulse weapon on it. So it looks like a little bit of fun. Sure, I included it because I was really trying to find like a mechs I really felt would fit like a Lyran Alliance, which is really kind of interesting because that's a light, a medium. The Scourge is a heavy, and the Götterdämmerung is also heavy. I don't have an Assault Mech and a Lyran Alliance pack. What is wrong with me? Well, the problem is I can't really include like the Atlases or whatever because they're already doing those in packs. So I really didn't feel like I put them in. We don't need more Atlases. The Scourge is a very interesting mech. I do like this one. It's got a Gauss rifle, and then it's got a arm with 4 ER medium lasers in it. And the arm with the 4 ER medium lasers, I do believe has an actuator enhancement system in it. So it's got better accuracy off the lasers. It kind of like gives the ER mediums like a miniature pulse effect, which is kind of nice. It's a solid mech. I do like it a lot. I have a full fondness for the mechs. They have a big old cannon coming out one arm, like the Thunder, the Lao-Hu, the Scourge, the Onager. I really like that aesthetic to me. A little bit of unbalancedness to it, but that big old gun just like kind of like looks pretty cool. So do you like that one? And the last up is the Twilight of the Gods, or the Gods of Damarung. I'm sorry. This thing is meant to be as a replacement for the aging Thunderbolt, which means in many ways, to me, it looks a lot like a Thor again. It weighs 5 tons more than a Thor. It looks a lot like a Thor. It has the same eclectic weapons as a Thor, only instead of having like 3 guns, only like it has 7 guns. It's got an ERPPC at 15 and a bevy of like 5 ER medium lasers. I really enjoyed the word bevy tonight. I don't know why. But I do like this mech. I like where the LRM-15s are also located on it. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like the way it looks. I like that style of mech. I like that tough looking like humanoid mech also. So yeah. Also, besides, who doesn't want to play a game where you can constantly say "My Gott, Dämmerung, my Gott, Dämmerung"? It's just kind of funny. So go have some fun with that mech. I hope that one comes out. So that's my Lyran pack, my Lyran Dream Pack. Now we're in the latter half. After we've looked at those Lyran mechs, here's the last 6 to go. What facts are we going to find out of these?
Magistracy of Canopus.
And now I come to the Magistracy of Canopus, which is a lot of fun because all of their mechs follow a theme in some way. All of these mechs are named after a woman or a female job of some way. Like the Calliope was a Greek muse. The Agroterra is the Greek word for huntress. The Aluka was she was a queen of like an Ethiopian queen like 5,000 years ago or something. I think that's right. And then Pithasalea was an Amazonian queen. So they've got a really cool theme going on, which I really appreciate. I think it's very awesome. So I really had to put a Magistracy pack in here anyways, so it's a lot of fun. They could do these as periphery packs or whatever, and they could like different nations of periphery. There's another one coming up at the end of the video, so they can have fun with those. But the Calliope, little 40-ton medium mech, not super speedy, but it has a plasma rifle and an MML-9, so it's kind of scary anyways. Don't want to get too close to that sucker. The Agroterra is another medium, a bit faster. This sucker is a pretty nice mech with ERPPC, medium VSP laser, basic medium pulse, and some small pulses. It's kind of like a real brawler for its weight class, so it's actually like pretty nice. This thing's got like improved jump jets, I think, and does this one have? Oh yeah, it's got an AES. So yeah, it's all kinds of like it's a high tech mech again in some ways. It also could work as a Capellan Confederation mech, I do believe. The Aluka is kind of an abomination. I kind of like it, but I also kind of dislike it because it looks really great until you realize that it's also running stealth armor. And when it turns the stealth armor on, it becomes a pile of garbage, except for if you're not firing weapons. So it works if you're trying to close into the battlefield running your stealth armor, but then you have to gauge in combat, the stealth armor becomes a burden on it. This is another one from the Trinity Alliance. That's Canopus, Capella, and I am blanking on too much stuff tonight. Taurian Concordat. Jeez, duh. Okay, so we got like this mech. It's weird looking. I kind of like would like to bring it more in the modern area. The hips look like they should like massively be easy to knock out on this sucker. It's interesting to like show you like terrible vision view at the cockpit, but again, mechs are just like some cockpit, some sensors, whatever kind of thing. I really like this idea behind the mech, but it's the stealth armor is like my brain's like, why not just run it with ECM and get this sucker in and close? It's a 5.8 speed mech on a 55 tonner, which is kind of like not super fast. It's a 5.85. I think it's 5.85. Just go to 10. No, it's 5.87. 5.87. See, that's even better because improved jump jets reduce heat. They don't produce as much heat. And you can really close in with the sucker. So there's honestly no good reason why this thing needs to be running a freaking stealth armor. The stealth armor is just extra cost on this sucker in so many ways. And with your only 10 double heat sinks, turning stealth armor on means you can fire one gun. If you jump, or even more or less, even if you run, you're like really limited to like one gun, which is not going to be your large laser unless you want to generate excess heat while you have stealth armor on. So it's really a burden on the mech. Whereas you can deal with most of your guns, you still generate some heat when you don't have your stealth armor on. So, And also, because you can fire the MML9 LRM and the ER large together, and you're okay. And you can fire the MML9 on SRMs with ER mediums, and you're also okay. So it's got like the 2 variable stats, but if you turn the stealth armor on, you can't do the sniping version. Don't like the stealth in this mech. I know I just said too much about that. It's meant to be go through these faster, but whatever. Next we come to the Penthesilea, which I like this mech. It's one of those unbalanced designs. Big center torso, unbalanced left and right torsos on this thing. They're just kind of cool looking. Got a really interesting selection of weapons. LB-10Xs, ER PPCs, light PPCs, ER medium lasers. They're fun. It looks really kind of cool. So I like to see this sucker kind of like brought into the modern aesthetic and just really see where it goes. The design almost has a bit of a Star Wars feel to me because the uneven sides and the way the one side kind of looks like almost like Star Warsy engines. So you know, pretty cool. Do like the Magistracy mechs. I also love the fact that they are themed. Well, those are some awesome mechs. Let's look and see what the next ones are going to be. The next faction. 5 factions to go.
Rasalhague / Ghost Bear Dominion.
Yeah, that's a long name, but we're going to go with it. The Ghost Bear / Rasalhague Dominion. I kind of like lumped it all together. I know that might not be fair, but I kind of just did it anyways. And the fun thing about this selection of 5 mechs is we only have 1 bear. Instead, we have otters and mastodons and wolves, or Beowulfs, and an icebreaker. Yes, by the way, Contio means icebreaker, which is actually a really cool name for that thing. But I really like this selection of mechs I picked up for this one also. These are 5 mechs I really kind of like overall, just in general. The Beowulf 2C is... I like the basic original Beowulf. The Beowulf 2C is like that plus clan, so also cool. The Bruin is just a really solid, like, cool mech. I kind of like that triangular design of the upper part of it with like the guns underslung on it, which are Gauss rifles and pulse lasers and that kind of stuff, which is really fun. And it's assault class mech. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. The Rhyme Otter is a nice little high-end 55-ton medium mech with, well, primarily 2 clan large pulse lasers. And then an LRM-10 with Artemis. So, but it's still really primarily 2 clan large pulse lasers on a mech that can go 5.8 or it can mask. So, pretty solid. Considering this sucker does, yeah, it's just a good mech. I mean, for 55-tonner. The Mastodon is a big 95-ton assault mech. I mean, this sucker's just beefy. And it's really weird because this is the one mech I actually probably the least fond of because it's all really heavy. It carries 2 PPCs, they're clan style, so it's not bad, and 2 streak LRM-20s. So honestly, it's a really freaking good fire support mech, but it's just kind of like, yeah, we've been there and done that kind of mech before. Still, it's cool enough, and it is an Omni mech, so that's only the prime variant. There are other variants to it. And then my favorite, though, is the Contio. And this one is actually from, like, the 3075 technical reader, I do believe. No. This one came from one of the Ilclon recognition guides. So, yeah, but I still like this mech. This thing is a awesome little 40-ton medium mech, but it is a brawler and a half. It's got claws. Those are actually claws on the end of the arms. Then it's got like 6 ER smalls and 2 medium pulse lasers and a micro pulse laser. And it's just a little nasty monster because it's a 711 with mask. So, oh no. Mask and supercharger and oh my goodness, and then it has stealth armor. It is a crazy little mech. It is like a hyper tech mech, and it's just really cool. And I like the way it looks. It's kind of like that. The cockpit is like the mouth on that mask, and there's like those are like. It's just really I don't know. I really like this mech for some reason. I can't tell you 100% why, but it just kind of looks. It looks like a brutal mech for a 40-ton. Like this is something you won't want to get too close to. Unfortunately, you might not be able to avoid that because the freaking thing can move up. I think up to like 914 or whatever, like 14 hex or something. Maybe even faster. I mean, so much on this thing. It's just so. Oh. Yeah, it's just crazy cool. So, it's not actually, I don't think it's actually mask. It's TSM. It's even better. That means those claws are going to be doing even more weapons. And it's got all those little lasers to be able to precisely dial in the exact amount of heat it needs. It's so good. The Contio is like really good mech. And since it came from one of the Ill Clone guides, my opinion is we probably are seeing a model for it sometime in the not too distant future, whatever not too distant means. Still, that's the Contio, that's the Rasalhague Ghost Bear Dominion mechs. I like this pack a lot also. Last third of the factions. What faction are we gonna find as the first of the last third?
Clan Wolf.
Next up is Clan Wolf. And like the Falcon and the Raven and the, yeah. They really like putting the word wolf everywhere in their stuff. We have the Wolfen, the Dominator, that was a very unsubtle name, the War Wolf, the Alpha Wolf, the Night Wolf, the Wolfy Wolf. So, yeah. I mean, they just really like, again, sticking the word wolf on their clan names. I showed you why I was really impressed, really happy with my selection for the Ghost Bear Rasalhague ones was because they only had one bear. They had other, like Norse or Norwegian or whatever names, like with the Contio, but they only had one bear. Still, let's look at these mechs a little bit quickly. The Wolfen is a light mech from 3137 roughly. It's honestly not very good at all, but I included it because I was really kind of scraping by on these, like, to not pull in things that we already have, like the Regent or whatever for Clan Wolf. So this thing's at an ATM3 and a UAC 2 in the Prime variant. It's an Omni, thank goodness, because the UAC, the Prime variant is a ball of garbage. Then we have the Dominator, which is a heavy mech, which is unsubtle in its name at all. And honestly, I don't think the name really kind of fits it because it's a second-line battle mech. It was designed to replace their losses with when they're chasing Clan Falcon around or whatever. It has an ER PPC, an ER large laser, Street Caster from 6, and an ER small laser. It's... yay. It has a targeting computer, which is nice, which is good for it. And it does have a supercharger on a 5.8 mech, so it can actually get some good speed out of it, which is nice to see. But, yeah, I mean, I honestly not sure it dominates, but it's good enough, I guess, for 65-tonner. That name seems to imply that it's hitting above its weight, and I'm not sure it really is. The War Wolf is another heavy mech, which I like a lot better. This got reactive armor, which is really kind of cool. It's got 2 LRM-10s, a Gauss rifle, a tag, and a laser AMS system. Yeah, a laser AMS. It's also got a targeting computer. Yeah, it's not bad. Again, very ammo dependent on this one. No energy weapons at all, except for the laser AMS, as weird as that is. Not bad, not great. Again, it seems like it doesn't have a lot of pod space stuck on that sucker, and they ate up most of it in the Prime variant with the Gauss rifle. It's an Omni again, so that's nice to see. But, yeah, it's not terrible. I'm honestly not super impressed with a lot of the Wolf mechs in this one. This one is one I included because it has a more modern art design already for it. This is the Alpha Wolf. It's an Omni mech, but it's also an assault mech. Here's the fun thing. The reason why I really like this mech, though, this is by my favorite of the entirety of the Wolf pack, is the Wolf Fantasy faction box, is because it has 2 Rack 5s. I do believe they're Clan Rack 5s, which I do like a lot. And also 2 LR15s and an ECM suite. The ECM is fixed among all the variants, so yeah, there's for that. It has stealth armor as well, so one of the things that you're going to see as we go if you play into the further and further into the future eras is you see a lot more stealth armor and a lot more crazy armors, hardened, reactive, laser reflective, so forth, and so ferrolamellar, which are kind of cool to know, but they do add a level of complexity and rules to the game. So this thing has stealth armor. It's got a new art design, so my assumption is at some point in time we've got to be getting this thing, so yay. But I do like the Rack 5s. It also makes the arms look really cool. And last up is the Night Wolf, another one of those super over hard sci-fi or ultra sci-fi mechs. It's a pretty cool looking mech, really weird selection of guns on this 90-ton assault mech. It has a targeting computer in it, has a heavy large laser, a plasma cannon. That's the gun that for the clans just does heat damage. Or just does heat. Has an ER medium laser, 2 ATM-9s, and an AMS system. Now, thankfully it has those ATM-9s because those are probably the most overall impactful weapon on the thing other than the heavy large laser. Plasma cannons are interesting because they can really screw up some designs. Like if you see an enemy mech that's decided to turn on its stealth armor and fire more than one gun, pop it with a plasma cannon, and it's going to have a very bad day. So, it's an interesting design. Again, though, I'm hoping these ultra hyper sci-fi mechs get brought into the modern stakes. They don't look quite so... I mean, I think they look pretty cool, but I think they're a little bit too over the top hard sci-fi or whatever. So, it'd be nice to see them like more updated. We have 3 factions remaining. Taurian, Draconis, and Capellan. What is the faction for this one?
Draconis Combine.
So when I came up with the Draconis Combine back, which you can tell is one of the older ones I designed, any ones that has the numbers on there are one of the ones I designed earlier before I got bogged down by other crap. But I kind of went with a theme on this pack. More than I did any other things. Like, this was like an intentional theme. The Canopus, the Magistracy of Canopus one, was an accidental theme of all the women warriors kind of thing. This was an intentional theme. These are all spirits, or yokai, or whatever. The Bakaneko is the changed cat, the ghost cat. It's a spirit cat. It's a demon cat kind of thing. Hitosume Kotso is another yokai or demon, like one-eyed dwarf, so it's kind of crazy. The Orochi, the Yamato no Orochi, the headed, 8-tailed Japanese dragon serpent thing, and Tenshi or angel. So, boom, 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 we've got spiritual stuff for this pack, which I kind of like. I thought was like a fun theme to kind of like bring it all together. Which also, considering the Draconis Combine, you know, kind of like swallowed up Nova Cat, more or less, in some ways, but before other stuff happens, and so it kind of like felt like a fun theme. So we start with the Bakaneko. It's a nice little medium mech, 55 tons. It's really just like an extension of the Phoenix Hawk, which is pretty cool. It's got a Clan Large Pulse Laser, which is always really good, because I mean, Clan Large Pulses are twice as good as an Inner Sphere Large Pulse. A light PPC capacitor, an ER Medium Laser, and 2 MML3s. So, not terribly great for the MMLs. They're okay designs. I mean, they're SRM3s up close, so that's pretty good, but they're LRM3s at distance, which is like kind of like a kind of like that. I'll plink you, but at least it's less tonic. Think of an MML3 or whatever as a less weighty AC2. So they're better that way. They're much better. If you think of them like that, they are a really good weapon compared to an AC2, because AC2s are crap, and the MML3 at least is functional and weighs a hell of a lot less for the same damage at nearly the same range. Next, let's come to the One-Eyed Dwarf, or the Hitosume Kozo. Again, remember I was talking about a little bit ago about the fact they're different armors? This thing is covered in hardened armor. So, it's not super fast, but the fun thing is while it has hardened armor, it then adds TSM into it, so it gets to gain that speed kind of like back up. It's also got Hatchet, which TSM says, yay! The problem is it doesn't have great weapons to be able to work with the TSM. It has a heavy PPC and 2 air medium lasers, so you're going to really be turning off heat sinks and stuff like that, and really paying attention to your heat levels. Are you going to be running next turn, or walking, or what? You really have to pay attention to that if you want to keep yourself running at a nice, even 9 points of heat for TSM to be on for your speed and melee buffs. So you've really, really got to watch that thing, because if you don't, this mech can really be a burden. It's hard to run if you do not really pay attention to your heat levels by turning heat sinks on and off in the end phase and really predicting what you're going to be doing next turn. You have to be thinking ahead with this mech. Let's take a look at the Orochi. The Orochi's a fun design because it carries 2 things called Thunderbolt 20s. This is an assault class mech that decides that why should an AC-20 only go 9 hexes when you can pitch it halfway across the frickin' map? Yes, it has a weakness to AMS because of 50% chance of being shut down. Just don't fire the mech with AMS. And then all of a sudden, they can feel the terror of really long distance AC-20 shells. Because that's what a Thunderbolt 20 is. A Thunderbolt 20 is an AC-20 that can reach out and touch someone in a very unfriendly way at a very long distance. And then beyond that, it's got a couple of close-range Streak SRM4s and ER small lasers to keep things away from itself. But that's not where you're fielding this mech. You're fielding this mech to literally throw AC-20s across the battlefield. So, fun. A lot of fun, in my opinion. And the last up is the Tenshi, which kind of has that whole appearance. kind of in the same line as the Omen and the Nightwolf. A little bit hyper sci-fi. I mean, not as hyper sci-fi, but a little bit hyper sci-fi. But still, I do like this mech in some ways. It's really a bizarre mech. I like the basic... it's an Omni mech for the Draconis Combine. But it's the primary configuration is a Gauss rifle, 2 rocket launcher 10s, give or take those, and then 5 light PPCs. Okay, it can't handle the heat from that crap, but it's fun, it's weird, and it's interesting, and it's, for a 95 tonner, it's going to be kind of scary. It's going to be a really good sniper mech. So, pretty fun. I think the rocket launch is kind of like, because they look at their associated legs, maybe like they point defense weapons, like, oh no, something got near me, fire my rockets! And there are, of course, 3 other variants of it. We're not going to go into those. But, again, I designed this pack as a themed pack of these are spiritual things for the Draconis Combine. 50-50 spin, Capellan Confederation or Taurian Concordat. Which is it going to be at the very end?
Taurian Concordat.
Okay, Taurians are next. Well, we come to another periphery pack, and that's the Taurian Concordat, which I do admit I had to struggle a little bit on making this, but I really wanted to include the Taurian Concordat, so I said, you know what, I'm going to bend things a little bit, and we're going to put in the Toto. The Toto is an ancient mech from like 2548 originally, but it does come back in the later eras with updated variants that have Indosteel, XL engines, Taurian computers, Case 2, Angel ECM, so it really becomes an electronic marvel with the B12 and the B9 variants in the later eras. So while it was originated back in the 2500s, it has modern variants in the 3100s. In fact, the B9 was introduced in the 3108. So I feel like while it bends the rules of my leg thing, it still fits because the mech is around and fighting with brand new versions in the 3100s. So it's good enough in my opinion. And also, you gotta have a Taurian Concordat pack, right? So, we come to the Cadaver, which is another those mechs I like because it's a lopsided mech, like really big shoulder and arm on one side, and then like a little missile launcher on the other side. It's unbalanced, a little light 30-tonner, which honestly is not a bad 30-tonner. 2-year medium lasers, a flamer, and an MRM-10, and a Guardian ECM. It's pretty solid for the mech. It's moves at 812, so it's a solid little light mech. I can't find a real big fault with it. I like it. It's nice. It's just kind of funny, and I like to see it brought up in the middle of the modern art designs, because while you can't see the picture right here, the legs look goofy in my opinion. We've got the Marshal. This is another mech that really kind of bent the rules to put in here, because the original Marshal variant was like in 3059, but still it's a very popular like colonial Marshal mech or whatever for the Taurian Concordat. It's really good and simple for the base variant. But it does have later era ones that have X-pulses and improved jump jets. So again, it has those later era variants. Technically, I could have put this in the Magistracy of Canopus box, but that one was accidentally themed, and I decided to leave the theme alone. And so it's also to Taurian Concordat. So remember, they're part of the Trinity Alliance, Capella, Taurian, and the Magistracy. So it fits here. I like the way the mech looks, the design too. I've always liked this bulky, medium mech that's just really, the base variant is very much a standard, all things go mech, and the only advanced tech the base variant even has is a medium pulse laser. The rest is all stuff you can find from 3025 except for the ferrofibrous armor. It's such a simple design for the original one that I really like it. It's got ferrofibrous and a pulse laser. Beyond that, it could have been a freaking Intersphere 3025 mech. Because it has single heat sinks, it's got a standard engine, and it's got flamers and LRM-5s and machine guns and a large laser and a medium laser. There are 2 pieces of advanced tech on that entire thing, built in 3059, so it could have been a 3025 era mech. But it wasn't, and I like that design. I really like the way that thing feels. Later variants do get double heat sinks, and they get bigger launchers, and they get T-Simp cannons and MMLs and X-pulses and light PPCs and snub noses and stuff like that. So they really do, this mech does evolve into the future eras pretty significantly. And then we have the last mech in the Taurian Concordat is the Brahma, which was from 3080. and is just another one of those weird mechs. It's got a LAC 5, or a Light Autocannon 5 on it. It's got flamers, and ER medium lasers, and streak SRM6s, and so forth and so on. It's a 60-ton heavy mech. And honestly, it's not a bad mech design, but this one really needs to have the artwork kind of like pulled up in the modern era. And it's just a good, solid mech, especially for the Taurian Concordat. It's nice. This is a very solid pack, in my opinion, for like mechs that are very functional. They're very utilitarian and very functional. They're great for the Taurian Concordat pack, so I think I like this pack a lot. And so, yeah, that's the Taurian Concordat pack. I like these mechs. They're solid mechs. They're not stellar. They're not crap in general. They're just there. They're good. They're dependable workhorse mechs. It looks like we either save the best or the worst for last, depending on your disposition. But we have the Capellan Confederation is going to be the last one. But you know what? For fun of it, I'm going to spin the wheel anyways.
Capellan Confederation.
Because I love how they say that. Oh, well, let's go look at these wonderful mechs from the Capellan Confederation. Okay, here they are. And now, last but definitely not least, we have the Capellan Confederation's set of mechs, which are kind of fun, exactly. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at this, one of these mechs I've already predicted, because I wrote this one a while ago. That's why it has the letters and the numbers in there, because I got lazier in my more recent ones and decided I'm not putting the variant numbers down. We're just going to go with the names. So if you go back to the video, if you'll notice, some packs just have the name of a mech, and some packs will be like this. You can tell which ones I did the art for, or the layout for, because I didn't draw this art. I will not take that away from these artists. But I put these in the pictures right here. This is, stuff that, like, I did a while ago when I was really planning these videos out. It just taken me forever to get to. But the Tianxiang is already coming in the McCarran's Armor Cavalry pack. So, I predicted a mech correct. Can I be happy? I'm happy. Okay, let's look at the other three mechs. So we don't need to look at the Tianxiang. Well, we will look at it anyways, but, it's already coming, so... Okay, first up we have the Dola. It's a little light mech with weighs 30 tons. It has a composite internal structure, interesting, 2 mediums, and a medium vibro blade. That's not just a sword, that's a vibro blade. Ooh, an Angel ECM suite. It moves a 812 speed. It's pretty cool. It's got an XL gyro, XL engine. It's just an interesting mech overall. So I really like the way it looks. It's got a really cool looking thing right there. So yeah. I like it. It's one of those like light mechs I want to field a bunch of, because it just seems like lethal, like a little dog pack of these things. Like a lance of them seems like they'd just be brutal on the battlefield. Next up we have the Ebony, which is another light mech. The Capellan pack is not super heavy right here. It weighs 25 tons, and it's got Indo Steel and Stealth Armor. Yay. Oddly enough, though, it only carries one gun. The base variant carries one gun, a snub-nosed PPC. So, yeah, it's also really stinking fast. Really stinking fast. It's a 10-15 base speed mech with a snub-nosed PPC. So if it gets within 9 hexes of you, it's got a PPC's damage off this sucker. That's good. And it's going to get within those 9 hexes all the time. And then it's got that Guardian ECM. So if you're running like C3 or other electronic networks, this little fast sucker is going to be up there shutting down your electronics network. Scary little dude. For a 25-tonner, pretty solid mech again. Some Capellan designs tend to be kind of lethal. I like that. I do like that a lot. I mean, come on. The next one's up named is Mortis. They're not shy about naming their mechs the Capellan Confederation. And this is a heavy mech, so you got 2 lights and I think 2 heavies in this pack. It's a 75-tonner. Very simple, a lot of the design. So 35. That's got an XL engine in it. It moves at 5.8. 11 double heat sinks. All that combined with a heavy PPC, a MML 5, a rocket launcher 10, and a hatchet. Now it has an AES system in each arm, so that's really scary. The heavy PPC and that hatchet are both combined with an AES system. And AES, like I said, makes it easier to hit. Its accuracy enhancement system is really, really fun. The rocket launcher is probably the only thing I don't really like on it. I had to put on a small laser of some variety to fill in for that, because or a medium laser or whatever, because it's just not my cup of tea. It weighs, it's only, I just think like an ER small in there. A rocket launcher 10 weighs half a ton. So it's kind of like the gap stop filler thing. If you don't want to put an ER small laser in there, you put a rocket launcher 10. It's not bad, but it's a one-use weapon. Still, as far as one-shot guns go, I will take rocket launchers over SRM one-shots any day of the week. Any day of the week. They're hard to hit with, you have a plus to hit, but they're more potential damage. And they tend to weigh less. So, go with that. Rocket launchers are better, in general, than an SRM one-shot. It just also looks really cool. The mech just looks kind of like a scary little badass. And let's talk about the mech that we know is we're already getting, the Tianzhong, which is a solid mech. It's a 75-ton mech with stealth armor. And this one instance, I'm going to say stealth armor works relatively well, because it has 12 double heat sinks, which it doesn't really even need, because its main weapons are 2 Gauss rifles up on the shoulders right there. It has 2 backup ER medium lasers, which you're only going to fire if you need to something's close in, because otherwise you can keep your stealth on, keep your long range, and just punch Gauss rifle shells down range all freaking day. This is a pinnacle sniper mech. I mean, that's what makes this thing really good. In fact, the base variant, there are a couple of variants. The main primary variant is the one you really want to field. The other one actually goes with light Gauss rifles and ER large lasers. I'm sorry, that is potentially 1 point more of damage if all 4 of those guns hit over the 2 Gauss rifles. But you know what? I will take the Gauss rifles, because I do believe the other variant with the ER larges still maintains stealth armor. You can't have that on and be firing those ER larges without just massively overheating yourself consistently. So you'd be firing every other round at best, versus the Gauss rifle one that has stealth armor is going to be firing every single round constantly. That is really good guns. Yeah, I'm actually glad we're getting the Tianzhong. I didn't realize it was a mech that was found so much in McCarran's Armored Cavalry. But sure, why not? Go to town. I mean, we're getting the mech. That's all I'm honestly happy for. It's a great mech. It's from the 3090s, and so yeah, really good mech. See, I think it's kind of I'm really kind of glad that Capella became the last pack to jump, because that way we didn't talk about a mech that's already coming out until the very end. But that's where we are. We are now at the very end of this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please do the typical YouTube things. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I don't think I'm going to be doing another one of these packs. I'm going to keep the 2 videos I have up for these as my predictions. And as we see new packs, I'm going to kind of revisit these and say, hey, yeah, this new pack comes out. I predicted this mech, or, oh, I completely bombed on these mech kind of thing. So we got that coming up. I'm still working some other videos. I know it takes me a long time to get these things done. It's a one-man operation. But I hope you do enjoy them. And if you do what I said before. Just kind of do the YouTube things. Subscribe, comment, hit that like button. Put the bell on if they have that feature still. I don't pay enough attention. And so, yeah, I've been SleeplessRonin. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you have, sayonara, and I'll see you next time. And if you haven't video, I'll still hopefully see you next time. So, sayonara. We'll catch you in the future.